It's not just engine, and specs. It's about how that engine works with that specific transmission.
That's why it puts out the numbers it puts out, and it just shocks people.
Can you buy a better or faster car? A supercar? I don't think so. It's genuinely an exciting car to drive. The McLaren 720S. This car is beyond fast. It's almost unfair how fast it is. Let's take a look at this baby.
McLaren doesn't do anything just to do it. Every single thing has a purpose. The way this car looks, the way it feels, is a purpose. This vehicle is designed to be aerodynamic, super efficient, every aspect of it. For example, it's got 15 radiators. Some of them sit in the weirdest places, and they play two roles. For example, the vehicle has a radiator inside of the headlights. It's serving the purpose of cooling the radiator, giving it the air that it needs to breathe. It's also serving the purpose of aerodynamics. It's pushing the vehicle down and in the direction that McLaren found fit when they were testing it in the wind tunnel. They squeezed every little bit out of it, and that's why it puts out the numbers it puts out, and it just shocks people when they get in it for the first time.
The vehicle is a 710 horsepower twin scroll V8. That engine has made it to a 7-speed double clutch transmission. So when you say double clutch, you literally don't have two clutch pedals. What you have is two hydraulic clutches, but it's not an automatic. It doesn't behave like an automatic. It doesn't drive like an automatic. So one clutch works the odd gears, first gear, third gear, fifth gear, and seventh. And then the second clutch works the even gears and reverse. When it comes to the double clutches, second is already engaged while you're pulling in first. So when you tell the car to shift, all it does is just starts pulling in second. Now what happens to that first clutch that was sitting in first? That clutch jumps to third and is spinning and waiting for you. So as soon as you finish with second and you redline second and you tell it to shift, third's already there and it's spinning. All it does is starts pulling in third. And then the second gear jumps to fourth and waits for you there. Now, according to your braking, driving style, how aggressively you're driving and this and that, the vehicle makes a lot of decisions for you. So we have an amazing engine with a really cool twin turbo system on it, and you can really hear the turbos in the car, which is phenomenal. But that 7-speed double clutch is a huge part of the equation of how the vehicle is able to deliver all that power. It's not just engine, and specs. It's about how that engine works with that specific transmission. And some of the old gearheads, including myself, like I love stick-shift cars. I still buy stick-shift cars. However, there's certain things modern technology could do that a stick-shift car just can't do, and vice versa as well. But these double clutches, no human could shift faster than a clutch that's already in place waiting for you. So imagine this car with this type of engine, suspension, and everything, and imagine you put a 6-speed transmission or a 7-speed in there. It's just not going to do the car justice. When you floor a car on takeoff, that nose sits up, the back sits down. Well, the suspension on the vehicle accounts for all of that. It allows the back to stay as loose as possible to get as much traction as possible. So the car will do what it takes. These things aren't like, oh yeah, great, yes, it is a 710 horsepower engine. I'm not trying to downplay how good the engine is. I'm just saying, whenever you get a magical piece of equipment like the 720S, you gotta understand it's not just engine, it's not just, you know, aerodynamics, it's all of it together, working together, engineered so perfectly and in unison that you're able to achieve those numbers.
It's running a 20-inch wheel in the front and a 21-inch wheel in the back. Now, what's more important than the wheels on the car is the stopping power. Look at the sheer size of this brake. I remember when I was growing up, 15-inch wheels on a Civic Si was the wheel size, 15-inch wheels. This car has over a 15-inch rotor alone. These are carbon ceramic brakes. One thing to know about carbon ceramics is they do not bite when they are cold. You do have to get the brakes heated for them to work and really bite. You want them to get a little bit warm. It's running 245s in the front, which is roughly 9.5 inches, 9.6 inches, but it's running 325s in the rear, which is almost 13 inches. It's well over 12 and a half, pushing 13 inches in the back. That's a lot of rubber, and this is a Pilot Sport 4S tire, really sticky rubber.
So, for 300K, can you buy a better or faster car? A supercar? I don't think so. The only other car that I could think of that is a better, all-around car that's gonna cost you a decent amount less, but it doesn't give you the supercar vibes, is gonna be the Porsche Turbo S, the 992 Porsche Turbo S. It'll give you insane performance, and when you're talking about 0 to 60s under 3 seconds or at 3 seconds or less, you're talking stupid numbers. For an everyday car that's not a supercar, how much more do you want? So if you wanted the everyday driver, you'd go for the Turbo S. If you wanted a legitimate supercar, I can't imagine a faster car that's so well engineered than the McLaren 720S or maybe a 765 Longtail.
The vehicle is forcing air to travel around it. It's literally sucking up the air around it and using it to cool down, to breathe, and to create downforce. So let's follow this little path. This path gets deeper and deeper. More curvature here, and it just keeps going deeper. It's just pulling all that air in. Now, this is the actual engine intake. It's gonna catch as much of that air as possible. Now, there's a little hidden one down here as well. We're gonna look at this one over here. More air being captured down here. The entire side of the car is just taking in everything it could possibly take in. Whatever we didn't capture over here that escaped through the side, we're not gonna let that air just go to waste. We're gonna catch it here, and we're gonna bring it to this inlet, and we're gonna catch it right over here. After we catch it here, we're gonna use that to cool down, but also, again, downforce, downforce, downforce. So with this type of aerodynamic engineering on this vehicle, this many inlets, how we're using the inlets to cool down the vehicle, to control pressure, and to really just master the aerodynamics around us. When you mate that with the type of unique suspension this vehicle has, it becomes an absolute monster.
This car feels fast. It's not that it's just fast. There's many fast cars. This car feels like it. This car absolutely feels like it. It's very exciting. You hear, if you've watched any of the McLaren official videos of the P1 pacing the Nürburgring, one of my favorite McLaren videos as a matter of fact, when they pulled the sub 7-second lap time, which they were insanely proud of, as they should be, how it sounded, how dramatic it was, the whistling, the turbos, the wind working around the car, the spoiler going up and down, changing angle. You hear all the mechanics, so much of it. That's part of what makes it an exciting car to drive, is the sound design of the vehicle. How much of it comes in the cabin? How much sound insulation do we need? What's over the top? Are we building a Mercedes S-Class or a Bentley? Should we cut it all out? No. Let's give it to them. Let's make it exciting. McLaren has done such a perfect balance of exciting and enthusiast-oriented design on this car.
So I'd like to direct your attention towards the back of the car because there's so much cool stuff happening back here, and it just looks amazing. Let's go ahead and start off with this active spoiler in the back. This spoiler not only goes up and down as needed, automatically on its own, it makes decisions and does what the vehicle needs to perform. Not only does it go up and down, but through extreme braking, when braking and trying to slow the vehicle down, the spoiler will actually change the pitch and the angle to use the air to help stop it. So you're not just using brakes, you're using aerodynamics to stop now, which I think is phenomenal. Next thing I want to show you about the back end of this vehicle is the positioning of the exhaust system. This one, I wouldn't call it a top mount, but it's not your traditional mount exhaust down here either. So the benefits of this type of exhaust system is it saves weight, there's less piping, it doesn't capture as much of the heat coming out of the exhaust and the heat in the exhaust pipes, and leave it down here and have the heat go upwards. The fact that it's up here and it's designed the way it's designed really frees up McLaren to use all the aerodynamics as possible. And if you haven't noticed, there's one thing that's an ongoing theme on the car, no matter where you look, is everything has a purpose and it's designed in a wind tunnel. McLaren's theory is, if we're gonna do something, how do we make it better? They don't do anything just to do something. When you drive this thing, and you drive any 720S, everyone's gonna feel slightly different, but they all have that shocking feeling. And then you think to yourself, how much better could it get? How much faster could it get? And then they give you the 765 long tail. I hope to show you that soon.
The vehicles feel very exciting to drive. Every shift nails you to the back of your seat, and this applies to every 720. Will feel slightly different than the other. At least for somebody that's driven quite a bit of them, you start to see little nuances between each one of them, but all of them have that oomph. Every time you shift and it jumps from first gear to second or second to third, and a little clutch is waiting for you and it just starts pulling, feels like somebody just punched you in the back of the head. You know, like, you feel all the speed, you feel the fast shifts, you feel the suspension doing its thing. It's genuinely an exciting car to drive. And if you're buying a car to get the most out of it, you're getting one of the fastest cars available in the market, possibly the fastest under $1 million. You're getting the sound that goes with it, the looks that go with it. You're getting the feeling, most importantly, the feeling that goes with it. And that feeling goes for whether you're sitting in the cabin of the vehicle or if you're on the exterior of the vehicle. When you look at the car, it gives you that supercar feeling, hypercar feeling even for supercar money. When you're in the car, again, it looks like it feels like it, then you drive it, all of it lines up, it's fully in alignment. It doesn't get better than that.
The car is a super well built, well packaged. It's got the matte finish carbon fiber. It's even got the carbon paddle shifters. I believe this is like a $2,300 or $2,000 option just to get carbon paddle shifters. Different types of leathers, different stitching, and different shades of red. And it all comes together so beautifully. You have to see this thing in person to really appreciate it. McLaren's been building their vehicles, their production street cars, with carbon monocoques. That means this entire cockpit, this entire section where everything's built around is made of carbon. Well, it's the first time that the top half of the monocoque is also carbon. Now, what that does is it creates an extremely strong cabin. It's also super lightweight. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, email us, mclaren@studiomotors.com. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.